What's going on, guys? We are on to part 3 of this House of Strombo interview with Geddy and Alex. This interview from earlier this year. Wow. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, if you want to support the channel all kinds of ways, you can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address. And now, just like this video, I'm doing request videos. I'm doing donation videos. If you want me to check out a video, if you want me to check out a song, if you want me to react to something, if you have a question, if you want me to do some kind of video, hit me direct, PayPal, Venmo, and in the notes, let me know what you want. Put a link, give me a description, ask the question, whatever, and I'll make the video on it. Just like Bob here, who hit me with PayPal and was like, oh yeah, kitty. And was like, hey man, check out this interview. I know it's kind of long, maybe cut it up into parts. And bam, I'm doing a video. Incredible. So now we are on to, if my cat isn't about to destroy everything, we're about to do part 3 and end this thing. This is a great interview. And I imagine I'm not going to want it to end, and I'm going to have, want so many other questions and all that kind of thing. But, there's lots of interviews out there that I still haven't seen, so it's all good. Anyways, let's do this right now. Thanks, Bob, for the request. And here it is, part 3, closing it out. Bam.
Are you hopeful people for humanity and civilization where we are right now?
I used to be.
It's a tough one.
Not anymore.
It is a
Not
tough
so much right now. I had more faith in people a few years ago than I do right now.
Interesting.
But, I'm very happy to be wrong about that.
Yeah. Just in the last 4 or 5 years, it's really done a number on hope.
Yeah. What I find really interesting about this time too, it's not as important by any means, but in the last few years, it's the first time in my life where the music of the youth hasn't been leading any of it. Mm-hmm. Athletes take bigger stands. Now, when we were younger, athletes didn't, right? They didn't say anything. Now I'm looking at what, and I'm not saying that young people aren't engaged, because of course they are. They're not going to musicians the same way.
It's different.
Yeah.
That they used to.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
and I think you're right. I think you're onto something there. And I see I don't know what it's like to be young, and how you find your bands now, and how you choose your style of music. I mean, it seemed much clearer back when we were growing up. The options were more evident. So it's a confused world. And I read the statistic the other day about how 70% of young people are listening to records of our generation and not listening to new music.
Right.
And that's a staggering fact. If that's really true, that's real condemnation of the state of the music business like today.
I mean, that's
70%.
Yeah.
pretty accurate. That's probably accurate. That's probably pretty accurate.
Or maybe there's just some truths in what you guys were writing about that you have to have life experience to get to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's
when
curious.
they were writing it...
It's curious. I mean, there are certain things like some of the music award shows get canceled and no one said anything. No one seemed to care.
Right.
Short attention span now.
Shorter attention span, yeah, I guess so. Maybe there are too many branches on the tree now. It's everything's so diverse. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, film's 100 years old plus, so things naturally change, right? And I'm really curious to see where the place goes. One thing that hasn't changed, people are actually still reading. Books still get sold. Yeah. Audiobooks are a real thing.
Yeah, they are.
So I like the idea that people are reading still. And a lot of your contemporaries, I know Neil certainly did, the rock and rollers read. They read books and then they wrote about the shit they read.
Yeah.
That's what Gene Simmons told me once. He was like freaked out when he was on the road with Rush in the early days. And he went to your hotel room thinking we'd go get these Canadians to go party. And he opened the door and you were all just sitting there fucking reading. And
he made that up.
Well, he couldn't understand it. He was like, they're just reading. 3 guys just reading in the room.
Yeah, but we were really high.
That's the difference. That's what's amazing is that you guys were high and drunk, but somehow you didn't become messes.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know, their
Luck.
proper upbringing, I think.
Did you ever get close to losing the plot ever? We just didn't know?
We had our time, we had our moments where we were doing too many gigs in a row.
Yeah.
And the drugs were coming at us fast and furious, but somehow or another we kept our shit together through it all. But I mean, there was one leg of one tour that we did 23 one-nighters in a row. And you know, you're operating on fumes, right. And you're doing whatever it takes to get through to the next show or get through that show. So whether it's smoking a joint afterwards or doing a line of coke or whatever it takes, you did it. But in the end, we valued our work. We valued our quality of our gigs. So we never let it interfere. Yeah. It couldn't interfere. Otherwise, there was no point to be there. Yeah. What's the point of being here if you're going to fuck up the gig?
Right, because the music was actually important. It wasn't just a lifestyle.
Sure. It was hard to play. So,
yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
You know, we were very disciplined when it came to shows. There was not even a beer like during the drum solo.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
Not even a beer during. I mean, the drum solo was long.
Well, the drum solo was long. Yeah. I mean, there was a time where you might, you know, sneak backstage for a bump right at the end of the show.
Yeah, earlier on.
But you were almost done.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, could you imagine going on and playing La Villa Strangiato after you smoke a couple of joints? Yeah. I don't think so.
Oh, my God.
I don't think that's going to work too well.
I smoked a joint before a rehearsal once.
Right.
And we jammed for about 20 minutes, like psychedelic surf music. And it was so great. I was having such a great time. And then it was like, okay, let's do the show now. We started playing. It was like, I was the only person in the hall with giant headphones. And everything sounded crazy. And my hands wouldn't speak to my brain. And
right.
Ged kept looking over at me like, what the hell's going on over there? I was making mistake after mistake. Couldn't wait for it to be over. But I learned a very important lesson. Don't smoke a joint before a gig.
Yeah, not a rush gig anyway.
Not a rush gig, certainly.
There's too much
work. If you're jamming the blues, that's fine.
That's right.
Or psychedelic surf music.
That's right. When you go and play, do you play Rush bass lines?
When I
rehearse? When you're just messing around for yourself?
No, I don't play Rush bass lines. I just play new things.
Just play.
Yeah. I just play and I just jam with myself. And sometimes I will put it down on, I was kidding about the tape machine, but I will put it down and then forget about it. And I know there'll come a time where I'll start looking through that stuff and I'll go, oh, that's shit, that's shit, that's shit. Oh, that's not shit. And I'll build something off of that. So, and that's the way it's always been, really.
Yeah.
How do your families manage this version of you guys now?
Well, that's an interesting question.
The rhythm's different for them too.
Yeah. I think by and large, my family's happy to have me around, as strange as that might sound. I've been waiting for my wife to get sick of me, but she doesn't seem to. But if I tell her I'm going away to hang out with my wino friends for a few days, she doesn't object to that either. So take that for what it is.
Right.
I like being home now. I like being close. The blessing of the pandemic, the silver lining of the pandemic for me, has been my grandson and having to be there for him.
I heard you taught him baseball. That's what I heard.
Yeah, we played a lot of baseball and bird watching. We share a love of birds. And now he has left me in the dust. And now he knows every bird. Oh my God, we were doing this thing the other day.
It's very interesting.
You don't get me talking about my grandson, otherwise there'll be nothing else we're talking about. But we were, there's this, Cornell Labs has these live cams where you go on this website and they have cameras set up all over the world and you can click in and you can see birds from all over the world. And he's watching this one place, I can't remember where it was from right now, but a bird lands, he goes, Zadie, bowerbird, female bowerbird. I go, are you sure, Finny?
Yeah.
He was right. You know, he just has, he's talk about a clean slate. He has soaked up all the bird books and he has retained it with that 7-year-old mind of his, and it's amazing to see. It really
why do you think birds work for you the way they do?
Well, for me, they're the last free aspect or sector of wildlife that's available to all of us at any moment. You don't have to be in a jungle. You don't have to be anywhere other than where you are. You just have to step outside your obsessions and look around. And it's completely edifying for me. And I just love it. And my grandson loves it now. And my wife puts up with it. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a colorful bird for her. Right. No, it's a good escape. And it's brought me closer in touch with my own photography. And I do enjoy bird photography. It's a real challenge, very difficult. And so that gives me something else to obsess about that has nothing to do with music, nothing to do with book writing, nothing to do with life. Mm-hmm. It's a pure escape.
And you look at them and you hear that line all the time, those are dinosaurs. Like they're connections to our dinosaur past when you see some birds fly by. Yeah. You know, like that's the real wildlife out there.
Yeah, and they're delicious.
Wait, do you eat chicken? Do you eat chicken?
I do. And birds are beautiful and delicious.
Oh my God.
I definitely agree with that.
Do you have a bird equivalent? Is it golf?
Oh, golf, I don't know. Like, I love golf and I hate it.
Are you any good at it?
Pieces. I used to be.
Yeah.
And then, as my brain started shrinking, I forgot all the things that I knew about golf. So now I don't know what I'm playing.
I thought your head looked a bit smaller.
Yeah, on the inside for sure.
How will your family manage the new you? Like the new reality for you?
It's my kids. We had kids very young, so my two sons are older than I am actually, and my grandkids are now in their teens, 18 and 14. So our life is kind of quite independent, and we're just on our own, and we're really, really enjoying that. We're still connected very much to our family and all of that stuff, but our relationship with my wife Charlene is really grown a lot in these last 7 years. But like Ed, there's total independence as well, and I guess we're just so secure.
Yeah.
So you just follow whatever you want to do, and the time together is great.
Can't wait to see what comes. What's the next anniversary?
God, who knows?
Who knows, right?
I have to wait for some fan to tell me.
Signals.
They know it all. They remind me.
When you two finally play together, will you record it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Sure we will.
Oh, I like the wink. Did you catch the wink? Because I mean, it's an impossible scenario. I don't even know how you answer those questions, but it's like people want to see you guys on stages, right? And how do you manage that? Because it's not just as simple as you two playing. There's a lot of emotional reality to that.
Yeah. And it's weighing, time. If I've learned anything from the terrible things that have happened in the last few years, it's the value of time, and to make sure you're spending your time the way you want to spend it. And that's a bigger question than whether Al and I will make a record or Al and I will play together or whatever. It's got to be about our time and in our lives, because it's precious, and it goes. And look what just happened with Taylor.
This is at your last show. I sat in drummer's row, and Taylor was there, and I watched him watch you.
Yeah,
and that means
heartbreaking, just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and this record
that really broke my heart.
Did it? Yeah.
His passing, so full of life. I remember when he presented the award, the Hall of Fame award to us in 2013, and we came up on stage. He was literally jumping up and down like a 2-year-old. He was jumping up and down. He was so happy, and that was him. He was so full of admiration and rock and roll joy juice, and it just seems wrong that he left us. But so again, time.
What did he say to you when he handed you the award? Do you remember what he said?
He just gave me a big hug. Yeah. Oh. He just gave me a big hug. He was amazing.
He was.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest hitting losses I've
He just sent me an email like a month ago, just checking in. That's what he would do. He would just check in.
Right. I can't even imagine what Dave's feeling.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah. It's time, how you spend your time. All the more reason, I guess, that's why I think people value so much the two of you together now.
Yeah.
Is because the time together is something.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see you guys. Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to spend time with you. No one better for us to talk to than you.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Great stuff. Great stuff and interesting stuff. Did I need to know the thing about Geddy and birds? No. That was pretty funny though. That was why I wasn't expecting that. Was not expecting that. What else? There was so much in this interview. Just in all the parts, there was so much. Yeah, spending your time and, you know, the hope of people. Yeah. And I thought that Strombo, I forget that cat's first name, how he put it, where kids are going to other places, not music. They're finding it elsewhere. That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, especially with, I was going to grab my phone, but I'm looking at it. Especially with phones, you know, and technology, it's not the same. Music is with your ears, and we are very eye-centric right now. Like, everything is eyes. Everything is eyes, and it practically shuts your ears off. Like it's to a point where, like, your ears are just, you're not listening anymore. People aren't listening, you know. They may be hearing things, but they're not listening and, like, processing and thinking, like, for themselves, thinking about what it means, thinking about things, you know. Anyways, that makes it a little tough on music, because you kind of have to listen to music. You kind of have to. I mean, you don't have to, but, you know, if you want to be, like, into it, you kind of have to. You can hear it and, you know, just, you know, dance and just be whatever. And, yeah, this is so cool right now, you know, and it's an experience. And then you go along with your day. You remember when we went to that concert? That was so fun. Yeah, you know, anyways. Yeah, this is a great interview. A great one, and especially interesting that it was super recent, you know, from this year. Yeah, spending time, that, you know, I mean, it basically ended with that, but, like, that is a big hitter. That's a big hitter right there. And I think that, especially over the course of the past 2 years, more than ever, people are thinking about those kinds of things. That's why there's been among the reasons why there's been such a move of people geographically, such a move of people in their jobs and their careers. Yeah, it's been very wild. Very wild 2 years. Anyways, I wanted to add this because I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about when the interview was going, but, you know, I'm trying to listen also. There's just so much. I'm sure I'm missing things to comment on. But what do you think about just Geddy and Alex playing? Like, if they were to, like, so recently they did a thing with Danny Carey of Tool, right? I haven't watched that. I don't know what that sounds like. I know that Danny Carey is amazing, and I'm sure that he could pull off all of the Rush stuff fantastically. He's incredible. But how would you feel about that kind of tour if they were to be like, you know what, we're going to tour as Rush with Danny Carey on drums? Do you think that that's a good thing? What do you think about that? I mean, you know, recently, I've mentioned before that, you know, I grew up listening to Pantera, and recently they're talking about doing a tour with, you know, Zakk Wylde has always been the go-to guitar player that's thrown around. It's like pretty much always only been like Zakk Wylde. And who was the drummer, the guy from Anthrax, right? Charlie Benanti, which, you know, I didn't listen to a lot of Anthrax when I was younger. I think I tried them and it just didn't work for me, and I was listening to other things instead. I was listening to Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Pantera. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll go back, because I think maybe I just didn't hear the right thing. But I don't know. I kind of think that that's weird. I don't know. I don't know if I'm down with that. I kind of feel like they shouldn't. But I'm a new fan, right? What do the old fans think? Do you think that they should? Do you think that's a good idea to I mean, I just think that Neil has to be there, and he can't, so it's not Rush anymore, and that just makes it like some kind of like opportunistic like money grab. I mean, I'm sure it's more than just that, you know, because these guys still probably want to go out and do things, but I just don't think that they should do that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know this is like a tough question and thought, you know, and I mean, is there a right answer? I don't know what the right answer is. It's probably different for everybody. But to me, I'm just like, oh man, really? I don't know if that's the right move. Anyways, this is just an added bonus that I'm going to throw in the video. So back to what I was saying at the time. Very cool. Amazing. This is a great interview. Really cool stuff. Really great stuff. Did you like that, Kitty? Wow. She's here the whole time. Wow, Bob, you got an extra. All right. Thank you guys for watching. This has been very cool. Totally amazing. If you want to, you know, discuss things, yeah, have at it. I'll catch you in the next video.